Alana,
Yes.
Jaylo,
Yes.
I was just talking to you about the fan in your living room.
Uh-huh. What about it?
Well, you got out of the shower, and
Yes.
before you got in, I suggested that we record afterwards.
Uh-huh.
You come out, I go into the bathroom and put on some aloe vera gel.
Right.
Come back in here, it's about to close the door, and you said, "Can we leave the door open?" To which I replied, "That's fine, but I'm going to have to turn off the fan."
Uh-huh.
Because it's going to create a little bit of extra sound.
The fan meaning the air conditioning fan.
The AC system,
Yes.
And it brought my mind back to this thing. Sometimes I'll listen to these podcasts, and I'm sure I'll do it this time, and think about all the mistakes, whether it's too many ums, like I just did,
Yes.
or repeating the same word. As I'm saying this, I'm wondering, have you ever had this experience listening to us back?
Yeah, you know that saying, we are our own worst critics?
I've heard that.
I've been very critical of my own self when I'm listening to myself. I'm like, oh, geez, I sound so dumb. Or I haven't articulated as well as I could have or should have. And it's true. I listen to myself and I'm like, oh, wow. I could have sounded much better.
Do you ever find yourself taking notes when you listen back to these?
Mental notes.
Okay.
Mental notes. I don't feel like I need to physically have notes around, but mental notes. I remember I took this class, I believe it was in 2005. It was a humanities class on interpersonal communication.
And right now you're distracting because somebody's calling you.
Now they can leave a message.
Distracted.
They can leave a message. Stop!
Okay.
I hope it doesn't catch
What? What do you mean catch?
the sound of the my phone.
I
going off.
doubt it will.
Yeah, but I can hear it. It's not it's in a place where it's not loud enough.
But you remember a few weeks ago when we had the Instacart delivery?
Yes. I didn't listen to that one actually.
That was a good one.
Okay.
I didn't hear the phone on it.
Oh really?
We reacted to it, but I don't recall hearing.
Because the voiceover was on, but I don't think I had it up. I don't think I had it loud enough to where anyone could hear it. I could hear it because it was right next to me. But anyway, getting back to what I was
Your
trying
class.
to say. So I took this class on, I believe it was interpersonal communication. This was in 2005, and I recorded myself a long time ago. Actually, so we were having our oral presentations recorded. And I was listening to my oral presentation, and I'm like, it really makes a difference to listen to your recordings. It really does. And that's why all of our presentations were recorded, and we were given tapes to listen to. And I honestly think I didn't do pretty bad. I didn't do too badly, actually. I had the same teacher 2 years prior, and I took another class. It was cultural communications, and that was really interesting.
I want to get back to that, but
yes.
First I would like to share a little bit of my own experience. I worked with this guy who used to say all the time.
Oh, really?
Right.
I don't think I heard this story.
This is in a public setting. I'm not going to say his name.
Okay.
But he was like every other word. It was either or
Did he say you know a lot?
No, it was more and
Oh.
So I used to make fun of him a lot behind his back because you know how I am.
Yes, that's not very nice.
And I'm actually trying to work on that.
That's not very nice.
I'm becoming better at not doing that.
Okay.
I still have some work to go. But then I started listening not just to this, but to the other podcasts I've done with people. And I noticed that I do that more than I would like to. So I'm wondering if that's the pot calling the kettle black.
I think you're right. And I do that too. And I try not to. I don't believe I've ever made any fun of anyone, at least ones that were not close to me. Like I didn't make fun of people that I didn't know at all. I think it's more that I would make fun of people that I don't think I did either. I try not to do that because I know that I do it myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now that I think about it, I don't think I ever did make fun of somebody's, or, or whatever, those, I just said, And those little words that we say that tend to take up our sentences.
They're filler words.
Yes, they're filler words. And sometimes I listen to myself and I'm like, wow, I should slow down. Sometimes I talk so fast that I'm like, I need to slow down so people can understand me. I try to do that. I'm trying to do that, actually.
I have been accused of being a fast talker.
You can be.
I think one of the reasons I do that is because oftentimes people will cut me off and not listen to what I have to say.
Right.
I had a boss once.
Who will be nameless.
Who has heard this before, this particular program that you and I do. So
yeah,
this person will remain nameless.
Yes.
Let's just say he likes it in the dark.
Uh-huh.
And you can interpret what you want from that.
Uh-huh.
He used to tell me all the time, I want you to really make these deep connections with people and bring them into your head and have this meaningful experience with them within 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
That's not very much time.
But beyond that, I always felt, this may or may not be true, but my perception of my childhood was that my parents did not give me the proper attention that I needed.
Uh-huh.
And I think that that's one of the reasons why I speak fast.
Mm-hmm.
Which, again, is another thing on the huge list of items that I need to work on.
So you heard of the term sing-song voice, right?
Yes, I have.
I was actually complimented by somebody. They told me that I have a sing-song voice, which I didn't even notice that I did have it. But I heard that if you wanted to achieve a sing-song voice in general, you should slow down your speech a little bit.
I can see that.
Yeah. But I was told that I have a sing-song voice, and I'm like, oh, wow, I didn't even notice that. I just pay attention to all the critical things I'm critical about. Not just the fact that I feel like my voice sounds like 10 years younger than it should, because I do have a younger sounding voice, and I think it could be used. I think it's a blessing and a curse at the same time.
I used to listen to the program Love Lines.
I did too. I used to listen to Love Line when I was a kid.
I'm not a fan
when I was a teen.
I'm not a fan of either of the hosts, by the way.
Okay.
As individuals, but I like the freaky callers.
Okay, so I have an issue with that, but go on with what you're going to say.
I remember Dr. Drew used to say all the time, if a girl has a voice like yours, it means that she was molested by her father.
I was so angry at that. That's the one issue I had about it. Not only did I kind of like the weird callers.
Am I getting the general? It was molested
yes.
or molested by her father? Which one?
No. It had to do with general sexual abuse.
Okay.
Not that it was done by her father, but that it was general.
Gotcha.
And I'm like, how in the world does he know that? Because some girls are born with naturally younger voices, high-pitched voices, like myself. I was never violated like that when I was a kid. So, I mean, that really made me angry because I'm like, how in the world do you know that? You could be a sex abuse survivor and have a deeper voice. Okay? I mean, it's just ridiculousness. I was very angry when I heard that. I'm like, I cannot believe that anybody with a degree like that would say that. Now, I don't really have a problem with Dr. Drew. I know he's worked with a lot of substance abuse people with substance abuse and childhood traumatic traumas, but I didn't like that comment. I think it's just very insulting, if you ask me. Very insulting.
I don't know. In some level, it seems like what he does is a little bit exploitive. I am speaking as an outsider, but
I don't know that it is exploitive.
Well, when he does these reality shows about celebrities trying to get sober, it feels exploitive to me.
And I didn't watch enough of them, so I can't really comment. I have watched part of his show on HLN, because he had one a few years ago. I don't know if he still does. And he's kind of like, so he's on the show with a bunch of like lawyers and prosecutors and stuff, or former prosecutors, and they're trying to weigh in on cases. So I thought it was kind of interesting, because HLN is like a crime channel that focuses on high profile court cases.
I'm not with him 24/7. For all I know, he's a really good guy. I can only vouch for what I've seen on TV and the advertisements for his shows and what I've heard of him on the radio.
Right.
Right. Tell me more before we move on. I wanted some more information on the cultural communications class.
So the cultural communications class was talking, exploring different cultures and how they communicate. We did some presentations on different cultures in the community. I happened to do a presentation with a group on deaf culture, and I was interviewing a profoundly deaf guy that was on campus where I was at the time in Seattle, and I asked him a question about how he was able to communicate with blind people, because if a blind person can't see you, can't hear you, can't sign, how do you do that? Well, he told me that he met this woman that was about ready to lose her vision, but she knew some sign language. I also met a nice woman who shall be nameless, and she went to my school, and she was a deaf student, but she was also profoundly deaf. She could make some noises, but...
You just said she was a deaf student, but she was also profoundly deaf.
Well, I have a reason for that.
Okay, go ahead.
She was profoundly deaf just as much as this other guy was, but she was able to make noises. I don't think he did. I'm just assuming because he never did when I was interviewing him. But anyway, she was trying to communicate to me that I dropped something on the floor. And so at the end of that, she picked up the object and she put it in my hand, and I said, "Oh, thank you. I didn't know that I dropped something." And I wonder how it is for a person who doesn't have any vision at all to communicate with someone who is profoundly deaf. I mean, I've communicated with people that were partially deaf. That's different because they were able to talk.
When you interviewed that guy, how did you...
He had an interpreter.
That? Okay.
He had an interpreter, and what I did was I was typing it on my the note taker I was using, and I was recording the interview on a tape recorder for myself, because it wasn't going to be used to I wasn't going to show it to anybody. It was just for my notes.
I would like to see those notes.
Well, no. This is a long time ago.
You don't have them anymore.
It's somewhere on my note taker. I think I still have it.
I would like to see those.
Why?
Notes down here, just to make sure that the interview was conducted on the up and up, and that you didn't make this story up.
No, that's for me and my I don't know, my archives or whatever.
Well, I think I should be reviewing.
Why?
No, I don't know. Because I love you.
Uh-huh. You wanted to see my work in my 20s, right?
I'm just having fun, babe.
Okay. No, it was a really interesting thing about what I found out. Yeah, it was good. It was very interesting. And also my interpersonal communications class was interesting too, because we were exploring also the media and how they communicate. And I decided to do a presentation on cartoonists, and I happened to get a chance to interview the aunt of a friend of mine, and her name was, and I can say it, Kathy Guyswhite, she does the Kathy cartoons. She is also a famous cartoonist who was one of her mentors was Charles Schulz.
That's pretty cool.
Of the Peanuts gang. And I thought, wow, isn't that so cool? She took, so she called me from California, and she called me, I had some time before a class, and I was really thankful that my friend was able to get me connected with her, because I was like, wow, she's her aunt. That's so cool.
That is really neat.
Yeah, and I was like, wow. And she just was an awesome person to interview, because she answered just about every question that I asked her, and I was able to get everything down, and she wished me luck on my presentation, and I was just so happy I was able to talk to her.
I've never read the Kathy comics.
I heard they were funny.
I was on YouTube a couple of years ago, and I'm just, I research weird stuff. I found an old news broadcast from Halloween night of 1988 from Channel 6 here in Portland.
Wow.
I watched it, and one of the stories was about the Kathy comics. And I think it had been banned in Portland for whatever reason.
Really?
I might be getting it wrong. She might have just been banned or suspended for a couple of days. And they were talking to protesters on the street about it.
Why?
I don't remember. This was a few years ago. But that's my
Yeah.
experience with the Kathy comics.
I am just so grateful and thankful that I was able to have that interview with her on the phone because not a lot of people get to do that. Not a lot of people get to talk to cartoonists and famous people, and to know that my friend was actually related to her was just wow.
That's kind of neat.
I
Do
know.
you ever wonder if your friend just had your mom call up and pretend to be Kathy?
That was definitely not my mom. My mom has a
Okay.
Filipino accent,
No, but her
a
mom.
slight accent.
Her mom. Your
I
friend's
don't
mom.
believe that. No.
Okay.
I don't believe that because when she was telling me about cartoonists, I would ask her, "Do you guys ever meet each? Do you guys ever like get together and critique everybody's work and stuff like that?" And she goes, "Oh yeah, we get together like once a year, and I think they have some kind of a convention or something, and they talk." They talk to other cartoonists and everything, and I thought, wow, that is so cool. That is really cool. I really believe that it was her. I don't believe that she would be faking it because you could tell, you can tell right away. A person is, you can tell right away if somebody is really a cartoonist or not. I believe.
I did not know that.
No, I don't believe that my friend would just lie to me like that. And she wasn't like a very good friend, but she was more like an acquaintance. But when I did talk to her about her aunt, I don't believe she would lie about that.
That's very cool, babe.
Yeah, and she was able to do that. She was able to connect with me with her, and I thought, wow, that would be so cool to to meet her in person, but I didn't get to do that. I don't even know if she might be still around. This was back in 2005, so this was a good 15 years ago. So.
Well, I hope that she's still alive and making that money.
So yeah, I thought it was very interesting.
Very nice, babe.
Was there ever an experience that you had that involved a famous person that you were able to talk to at least on the phone?
The closest to like a real celebrity would probably be Maysoon Zaid.
And I have no idea who this person is. And I know you told me about
She's
who she was.
a Palestinian comedian. She was a really nice lady. Have you ever seen that movie Don't Mess with the Zohan?
No, I have not. I wasn't interested in that.
I haven't watched it either. Apparently she had a scene in it with Chris Rock and Adam Sandler.
Oh, wow.
She's been in other things. She was a semi-regular on the Keith Olbermann show on MSNBC for a little while. I only got to talk to her for 20 minutes because this was back when I did the radio show, right? But she was very, very nice. And I remember I had this like huge list of questions, and I maybe got to a third of them.
But you talked to her over the phone, or was
Yes.
she in the studio?
I talked to her over the phone, and we recorded it. I could actually play it for you at some time because I saw it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Very nice lady.
This was back when?
This was when I was getting over my sickness. This would have been probably 2014.
Oh, wow. It was a good six years. So you were able to, that's when you got better, though. You were able to come.
That was right when I was starting to get over it.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very nice lady.
That's nice.
Yes.
That's so cool.
I'm sure she has no recollection of it, but
Maysoon Zaid.
Maysoon Zaid.
Wow.
Very nice.
I wonder if she's acted in other things besides that movie.
She has, but that's the thing that sticks out to me. If you would have asked me the day of the interview, I could have.
And
gotten her credits.
I wonder if I actually have heard her voice before, but didn't know who she was.
That's possible, babe.
Yeah.
You just interrupted me.
I'm sorry.
I'm fine with that, but that's why I speak fast.
No, I'm sorry.
So you know.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I just came up with an idea, and I am sorry. I usually try not to interrupt people, but
That's okay. But if you ever notice me speaking fast, that might be one reason.
Right.
Moving on, Alina. Alana.
Thank you.
Jaylo.
I think it's funny that you purposely get my name wrong on
A lot of
lot
people
of
think it's funny,
podcasts.
including me.
And your friends.
Yes.
That one of your friends, I know one of your friends noticed that.
A couple of people have noticed that.
Who?
I don't want to say right here.
Okay. And they think it's funny? I think it's kind of funny too.
I do too. That's why I keep doing it.
Uh-huh.
Last Saturday,
Yes.
we watched a couple of John Waters films.
Oh, yes, we did.
What did we see?
We saw the original Hairspray, which I never saw until that Saturday. And then we saw a Serial Mom, which I thought was very edgy comedy, very dark, but very funny and very weird at the same time.
I had seen Hairspray back in either 93 or 94.
And I've only saw the the newer Hairspray in 2007.
So it had been a long time for me. I enjoyed revisiting the film. What's your take on it?
I liked it. I thought the music was excellent. I mean, stuff that I either haven't heard of or I really liked, and I just loved it. I liked her interaction with Tracy and her mom. It was interesting, and her dad, and
Yes.
her friends and everything. It was quite funny.
We found out that she had the same dad as Jason Alexander.
Who?
Ricky Lake?
Oh, I did not know that.
No, babe.
Wait, what are you talking about? Are you talking about the movie, or are you talking about in real life?
I'm talking about the movie.
Okay, tell me that part, because I think I might have missed it.
Her dad in the film was Jerry Stiller.
Yes.
You know what else he was also in?
King of Queens.
I don't care about King of Queens.
That's the one I'm thinking about.
He played Frank Costanza on Seinfeld.
Okay, Frank Costanza, excuse me. That's why. Oh, yeah, actually, I think I remember you mentioning that briefly. Frank Costanza, yes.
But we saw him before he created Festivus.
For the rest of us.
Yes.
Yeah. Festivus! For the rest of us. Isn't there a part of Festivus where people are yelling at each other or their grievances?
I think it's called the airing of the grievances.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Who thought that a show about nothing would be such a big hit?
It's not really a show about nothing.
It's a show about some things, weird things, random things.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway.
After that film, we did view Serial Mom, which I really appreciated as a film, but you had not seen it before. What are your
I didn't
thoughts?
I didn't see all of it. I think the last part I saw was when she killed off that one lady that was watching Annie.
That's a great scene. But, I like a couple scenes before that where the lady goes into the film store and she returns Ghost Dad.
Oh, right,
She
right.
starts yelling at Serial Mom's son because he works at the video store. She leaves, and then the son's like, "Oh, that must be all those family movies she's been watching."
What about that one part where he turns off the horror movie, and she's like, "Hey, can you turn that one movie on where the guy's about to rip up that lady's heart?"
That's great.
She was very, very weird in that movie.
Well, that's
Kathleen Turner, I know, but she was very good.
yeah. It's the point of the film. I really, really like that movie.
It was odd. It's very quirky.
It's not my favorite film, but it's very enjoyable.
Yeah, there were some definitely funny parts.
One of the things I really like about John Waters as a filmmaker is he's willing to do stuff that's a little bit out there.
I thought it was funny when he played the psychiatrist on Hairspray.
That was great.
Yeah.
We still need to watch Pecker and Cecil B. Demented, which are later films of his.
And you like them both.
I did.
What is the premise behind Cecil B. Demented?
I saw it years ago, and there may have been some marijuana involved.
Oh, I see. You weren't sober when you saw it.
Well, we might want to say that I saw this in like 2001, 2002.
Oh, okay. Then my mother should not be watching this show, by the way.
And I have not done anything since then, probably. If I recall correctly, these teenagers kidnapped this actress and forced her to star in this B movie that they're making.
That's horrible.
Yes.
That is horrible.
Yes.
They just want to kidnap her for their B movies.
To star in their movies. So one day we will get to those films.
And is Pecker the one with Christina Ricci in it?
Yes. That's a fun movie. I've seen that movie a lot more times than Cecil B. Demented.
Okay, what is the premise behind that one?
She lives in this small town. She's not the main character. Her boyfriend is. Mm-hmm. And, they're in high school, and it's this very, oh, gee whiz type of town, right? Very Christian.
So it's kind of like Mayberry, pretty much.
Yeah, that's a better way of saying it.
Yeah.
And her boyfriend is named Pecker.
His first name. Or his last name.
I believe his first name.
Oh, jeez.
That might be a nickname, but I believe they call him Pecker throughout the movie.
Uh-huh.
He's a photographer.
Mm-hmm.
His photos become famous. Mm-hmm. And it's about how fame changes him and the people around him.
Oh, wow.
So, for example, I'm not giving too much away. His younger sister is really into chocolate.
Uh-huh.
He takes pictures of her that become famous, when she's eating chocolate. So the child services come and take her away
Oh, no.
because of her diet.
Oh, man. What was she, like an overweight girl?
I don't think she was overweight. I just think that she was always eating chocolate in the picture.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Sounds like me. Well, not quite. I'm not always eating chocolate.
I'm going to call child services on you. Eventually. But we haven't
But I'm a grown woman.
Oh, wait, yeah. You've heard of Friday got fingered. This will be Jaylo got fingered.
Yeah. I've heard of Freddy Got Fingered.
Great movie.
You told me about that.
Very underrated.
You told me about that scene. I'm 25 years old.
You did nothing wrong. That's the important thing to remember.
Wow.
I watched a couple of films this week without you.
Oh, I'm sure you did.
I revisited the comedy Dave.
Uh-huh.
Which isn't great, but it's a fun film with Kevin Kline.
Uh-huh.
And Sigourney Weaver. And I forgot that Ving Rhames was in it.
Oh, wow.
Marcellus Wallace
Oh.
played a Secret Service security guard in it.
Wow.
I also watched, for the first time, The Distinguished Gentleman.
Okay. Did you tell me that you liked it or you didn't?
I would have to say, if somebody asked me whether I would recommend the film or not, I would have to say no, but there were some interesting ideas in it. Mm-hmm. So I'll give you the basic premise. The film starts out, Eddie Murphy is this con artist who runs a phone sex hotline, one of those cheap ones.
Oh, okay.
And he's running this con at this place where they're raising money for this congressman.
Okay.
Okay. The congressman dies. Eddie Murphy has the same name as the congressman.
Oh, wow.
So he realizes that there's a lot of money in politics.
Uh-huh.
He runs for office, becomes a congressman, goes to Washington, and it's about his journey there.
Wow.
I thought they tried too hard to make it family friendly. So there's this idea in film to where you can have a character who's a bad guy at the start of the film, but you want him to change by the end of the film and become a good guy. But he's going into an environment that naturally makes people worse, I think, which is politics.
Okay.
But he becomes better through the experience.
Oh, wow.
I found that too hard to believe and too much of a Hollywood touch for my personal taste.
Okay.
Does that make any sense?
I think so.
You could ask me to explain more or not.
Just do a little bit more of an explanation because I don't quite understand.
So he's running this con. He's in Congress, and they're saying, "Okay, well, we're gonna have this dinner for you, where we'll charge people like $5,000 a head, and you get to keep that money." Or, you're a congressman, come and speak at this event, and we'll donate $10,000 to the charity of your choice, which can be your re-election campaign or whatever, right?
Okay.
And he's doing all these things. One day, this lady comes to him with her daughter, and you find out that the daughter has cancer.
Oh.
They believe that it's related to this power line setup that's in their neighborhood, which is in his district. He goes to visit it. He has the cameras come and take pictures, and he talks about how he is going to do something about these power lines. Mm-hmm. There's this older gentleman who is kind of his mentor from his home state, and he pulls him aside and he says something to him like, this is great. I'm very glad that you got the photo op with the little kid, and that's awesome. But, you might not want to go any further than this. Mm-hmm. And he says that because, he's in league with the power company. Mm-hmm. Eddie Murphy takes a couple of meetings, and I should also say that he has this love interest in the film who is trying to get him to, sponsor something. He goes out with her. He goes to the church where she likes to worship.
Yeah.
And it turns out that the minister of the church is her uncle, and he is also in government. We don't know if he's a congressman or a senator, but he's like one of the good guys in Congress.
Oh, okay.
Or in the government, I should say.
Right, okay.
Okay. So they both work on him over time, and they make him more gentle, and he ends up running a con against the guy who took him under his wings. The white
the uncle?
No, they run a con against the white dude who told him,
Oh.
this is great that you're taking the pictures with this little girl. It's awesome for the papers, but drop it here because the power company gives us a lot of money.
Okay.
So he gets him arrested, essentially.
Oh.
And I kind of felt...
Really? He gets Eddie Murphy arrested?
No.
Eddie
Murphy gets the white dude arrested.
Oh.
Who would try to mentor him.
Okay.
And I felt that there's no way that would have happened in real life. If this was a true story...
Mm-hmm. Which it sounds like it wasn't.
No. Eddie Murphy is going in there corrupt anyways. Mm-hmm. He would have just become more corrupt.
Right.
And he wouldn't have cared about the little girl.
Uh-huh.
And he would have found a way to get the girl that he's interested in and done the politician thing and been slimy about it and probably cheated on her. And, I was disappointed because I thought they missed an opportunity to make a much darker, much more interesting examination of political life.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay.
And the film is up for free on YouTube. I did not post it there, but after I watched it, I typed in The Distinguished Gentleman on YouTube.
Oh, wow.
And I saw that the full picture is on there.
When did that come out?
I believe at the end of 92.
Wow. Huh. That's interesting.
Yes.
So it was like a comedy drama?
It was like a comedy, but it was in that weird period to where Eddie Murphy was still making films for adults, but he was slowly starting to transition into family films.
Right.
And you see the end result in that with films like The Nutty Professor, which is overrated.
I liked the first one, but I didn't care for the second one. I saw the second one, and I was like, nah.
I didn't like the first one.
Well, I had never seen the original one. Is that with Jerry Lewis?
The original one is with Jerry Lewis.
Wasn't there another... I'm trying to think. Wasn't there another movie called The Absent-Minded Professor?
Yes.
Is that the one that you're talking about? Or because there's a Nutty Professor, and there's also the Absent-Minded Professor.
Correct.
So I don't know if Jerry Lewis is in both of them.
I never saw The Absent-Minded Professor. To the best of my knowledge, I may have watched it as a kid and forgotten about it. But
Okay.
As I recall at this moment, I've not seen it. But I recall hearing about The Absent-Minded Professor.
Okay.
Yes. What do you think about what I just told you about film?
I guess I never really delved deep into it because I'm not as much as a film buff as you are.
Okay.
Because you've been interested in film since you were in high school, and I'm just like, I like watching it, but I don't really go deep into it.
But what do you think about those two pictures in particular? Dave and The Distinguished Gentleman.
I don't know. I never saw them.
Okay.
I can't really comment.
You don't have a comment on my comments then?
Not really.
Okay.
I not right now anyway.
Very good.
Yeah.
Elena.
Reichard?
Elena?
Rikers.
We watched some films last night.
Yes. I'm not very good at getting your name wrong. Reichard?
Okay.
Reichard?
Okay.
Maybe I should call you Chard?
I don't know. Jaylo?
Wow.
What did we watch last night?
We watched actually 3 things. 2 movies and a 42-minute TV special that I haven't seen in years. We watched Ever After. We watched the Muppets version of The Frog Prince, which I never thought how... Well, I can talk about that later, but that we watched that. And then we watched Toy Story 4. The 4th installment of the Toy Story series.
I gotta say, babe, I'm not a family... I don't really like kids' films. Having said that, I think you picked some really good films last night.
I think I did too.
I mean, my favorite kids' film would probably be Coco. Even though that's more recent.
It is recent, but there's so many I haven't shown you.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many movies I haven't shown you. And I'm like a big Disney animated fan, and I haven't seen all of it. I know that last week was kind of a disappointment for the both of us, but
Yes.
when it came to Disney films, but we don't have to go back there again.
No, we covered that.
But
Go
there
listen to earlier episodes.
is a lot of stuff, and there's some old movies I haven't seen. Like I haven't seen Fantasia. I heard it's really visual though. Mm-hmm. But anyway, getting back on track here.
Ever After was great.
Yes, one of Drew Barrymore's best movies, I think.
I really enjoyed this film, and I had one criticism that I think you knew was going to come up.
Yeah.
But at the end of it, they satisfied it.
Yes, they did.
They did.
And they did a
totally
very
paid
good
it
job
off.
with that.
Yes.
And that's why I commented it's going to get better.
Yes. I love the scene in the movie where the prince goes in to wake up his parents, and he wakes up the dad, and the dad's just like, off with his head.
and the queen is like, Francis, wake up. I really love the back and forth with the queen and the king, and trying to get the queen is trying to get the prince to understand that he has an obligation to be king. And the dad's like, well, what are you going to do if I don't do this? What if I don't follow you? He's like, I shall deny you the crown and live forever. Oh, it's great. It's great. I don't believe that the king and the queen were well-known actors and actresses. I don't know. There's a lot of people in the movie that were just fantastic. The two old ladies.
Yeah.
The maids.
Yeah.
Really good.
I had heard of the film Ever After, but I didn't even know what it was about until you told me. I thought it was like some like love story about dead people coming back or something weird like that. I didn't even know it was a Cinderella thing until like a week ago.
No, my sisters and I used to watch that movie all the time. We love that movie. It's one of our favorites.
Yes.
And I had a feeling you would like it because it wasn't too much. It wasn't so chick flickish that a guy wouldn't enjoy it, right? Because there's some movies that were more like girl oriented,
Mm-hmm.
but this was a comedy and it also was a drama, and I just thought Drew Barrymore did such a great job in this.
Yeah, it's definitely more of a girl's flick, but it's
is.
not so far into that world.
No, it's not so far into it that a guy wouldn't be able to enjoy it. Yeah.
Yes.
Anything. I mean, so I know that you didn't like the scene where Danielle, who's played by Drew Barrymore. Her stepsister puts her father's book in the fire, and she doesn't stop it.
No, that bugged me because I thought if that was me, I would have grabbed the stepsister's hair and swung her around.
Well,
having said that,
yes.
They made up for it at the end.
Well, remember that part where the stepsister, mocked her because her mother was dead?
Mm-hmm.
And remember when she punched her out?
I do.
I love that part.
That's
great.
That
she really has a backbone, that one.
Angelica Houston killed it.
Yes. So I have the descriptive version of it.
Okay.
And the guy who was describing it said that when she got out of the carriage, that one part where Danielle's father was bringing the family home,
mm-hmm.
she looked like a hard woman. Like she looked very, very hard and very mean.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
She was very good. I mean, she was the epitome of an evil stepmother. Do you remember the part where she's like, I see so much of your father in you, and I can see it in your eyes. And she said, really? And she thought she was going to compliment her.
Yeah.
It's like, well, your features are so masculine.
That was great.
And she's like, and being raised by a man, no wonder you're built for hard labor. I thought, oh.
When Drew Barrymore is talking to her, and she's like, is there any part of you that loves me or anything like that? And she's like, no, you're like a pebble in a shoe to me.
She said, who would love a pebble in a shoe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and then she gets back at her at the end.
Yes.
Oh.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
Because not only did she get married and they were invited to the wedding, she said, I just want you to know that I will forget you, but you will remember me for the rest of your life.
I don't know if this is a guy thing.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy revenge movies. And I think we need to do...
I think, you know what?
Go ahead.
I think in some ways girls like that too.
Yeah.
Because for the underdog to get revenge on somebody that has been like maybe teasing them for the remainder of their childhood. Teasing them and belittling them and ridiculing them for nothing.
Well, I think in some ways, but if we ever do a revenge movie night, the films I would want to show you would be the original Death Wish and Hard Candy. But I think that's why I responded so well to the ending, and that's definitely why I did not enjoy the scene where the stepsister throws the book into the fire and Drew Barrymore doesn't do anything.
Well, think about this, though. All those scenes, all those injustices that Marguerite, her evil stepsister, we have to mention we have to single her out because the other one was very different.
Yes.
Marguerite, her evil stepsister, how she just hated Danielle. She hated her, and her mother hated her too. Right? And all those injustices, think about it this way. Those injustices were leading to the justice that Danielle finally got in the end.
Oh, of course. I mean...
I don't like that scene either, but that was I believe that scene was
it helped set
growing
up,
her.
It helped set up the ending.
It was growing Danielle, I think. And, just because, I don't like it either. Believe me, I don't like it. I really don't like that scene. But it really shaped her to the woman, into the woman that she has become.
No, it fits into the greater narrative, of the
yeah.
story. Yeah. But when I initially saw that scene, and I think I said to you, oh, these bitches got to get beheaded. And you were like, that doesn't happen in this movie. I was a little bit disappointed until
you didn't say it quite like that, but you were,
right.
you wanted someone to be beheaded.
Right.
I said this doesn't happen. And I wanted you to be quiet because I wanted you to watch, because I knew you were going to like, I knew you were going to like the ending.
Yes.
And I said, you have to watch. Be quiet.
Sometimes I'm like that. I get a little bit too worked up.
Yes, you do. And I said, we have to watch this. This is really good.
Yes.
Pay attention. And I was right, wasn't I?
You were. It worked out.
It's one of my favorite movies. And how they put Leonardo da Vinci.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was fun. It was kind of a side thing. And, he was trying to be the prince's mentor. And I thought that was really great.
Probably not the most historically accurate thing, but I still enjoyed it.
No, it wasn't historically accurate.
And when you watch movies, sometimes you gotta suspend disbelief.
I think they wanted to just put it. Maybe they wanted to put like a fun thing in there. But what was the one thing that Leonardo da Vinci said that you said was correct?
He said, "Oh God, I'm trying to remember now." That he was a bastard child.
Right.
I read. God, I hate to talk about books that I only read the first part of.
You're supposed to read the whole thing.
I know, but I just wasn't compelled by the book. Walter Isaacson, who is probably most well known for his Steve Jobs biography, did a book about Da Vinci.
Oh, Leonardo da Vinci, the painter.
Yes.
Okay.
And I believe he said in that book that Da Vinci was a bastard. Like his father was really wealthy and his mom was poor.
Wow.
And I hope I'm getting that right. And people who study Da Vinci might get upset with me, but I believe that's what was said in the book.
Right.
Yes. But it was a very fun movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very fun.
Then we watched The Frog Prince. Well, we listened to the audio of it.
We listened to the audio of it.
Which is very good.
It was very good. Enthusiastic cheer. So I haven't seen this movie for such a long time. Well, it was a short TV special, whatever. Whatevs. It was a short 42-minute special, but I got a lot out of it. I thought I love how the Muppets kind of take fairy tales and they put their own spin on it. And, and as I get older and I watch some Jim Henson stuff, he was a genius at making it for children, but adults can understand it too. And
well, adults are smarter than children, so they can understand things.
Would you stop?
Go ahead.
Are you going to stop?
No, but keep going.
What I mean to say is that there's adult humor in the children's specials that they do.
Good.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, you don't have to kick me. I enjoyed it.
Yes.
I won't. I'm not going to say that I'm going to listen to this 50 more times, but I thought it was fun.
What I thought was really funny is, so Melora, who is the princess in this film, the special, she was under a spell by her evil supposed aunt that she was going to say things backwards, and she was singing backwards, and the frog in the special understood what she was saying. And he was a talking frog, and he was singing everything forwards, and he was interpreting what she was saying forwards, and I thought that was kind of funny.
It was enjoyable for sure.
Yes.
Alana.
Yes.
As you know, I'm not a big fan of the first Toy Story movie. I did like the sequels.
The first Toy Story movie could have been much better.
Yes.
Yes, but this was, of course, the first of 4 installments.
Right. So I enjoyed the first two sequels. I heard that the fourth Toy Story movie was just okay. But then we watched it, and I gotta say, I really enjoyed it.
I didn't know how it was going to go, honestly.
Yeah.
I didn't know if one of the characters, Little Bo Peep, was going to come back.
Because she's not in the third one.
She is not in the third one. We think that somehow she was given away, because that was one of Molly, who's Andy's sister. That's one of her toys. And we don't even know what happened to her. But then we find out what happened to her in the fourth installment. And it was really good. And I like how each installment introduces new characters.
Yeah. They didn't overdo it with Keanu Reeves.
No.
Which I was afraid of. But he doesn't even show up until like the second half of the movie.
Do you know what toy was giving them directions when they were trying to get to the toy store?
Are you talking about when what's her name's when Bonnie's parents are trying to drive?
Yes, remember?
Yeah.
And the toys are trying to get to the toys are in the back.
Oh, it was the one who's voiced by Sarah Lynn.
Or the person who played her voice.
Yeah, the person who does the voice for Sarah Lynn on BoJack Horseman.
Sabrina, yeah.
Sabrina.
It says Sabrina. It says Sabrina.
So yeah, it was Sarah Lynn, but I don't know what type of toy she was. It wasn't a Sarah Lynn.
And she goes, turn right. And the toys are like,
yes.
Did you hear that?
Yes. That would be great if she came back in the next movie as a Sarah Lynn doll.
Oh, no. So, no. No.
It's like throws up.
Oh. You have some weird interests.
I do.
Yeah.
Oh, should we talk about my idea for a kid's place?
I suppose.
The kid
I'm
corral.
not I'm not into this idea, by the way. I'm very against it.
And this is just an idea. I'm not going to get funding for it.
No, I know that. I don't think it's going to work though. Go on.
So I was thinking about this yesterday as we were talking, and you know how McDonald's has an area for kids to play at?
Mm-hmm.
I thought it might be interesting if McDonald's, partnered up with Miller Lights. I guess it's Miller, not Miller Lite.
It's Miller Lite.
It is Miller Lite.
Yeah, it is. It's been Miller Lite for a long time.
Okay. I know that they do regular Miller beers, but...
I believe it's Miller Lite still. I mean, it might be different than... Miller Lite might be different than Miller. I don't know.
Well, they're owned by the same company, but I think it might be Miller. But irregardless of that, if they teamed up with them or Coors and did like a kids bar. So here's my idea, so it doesn't sound too weird.
It already sounds weird to me, but go on.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
They tear down the playgrounds. Maybe not McDonald's, but some place like this. And they build a replica of the bar, but it's for kids. So you go in and you have kids running it. And the kid might go up to the bar.
Or little people running it.
Yeah, or little people running it. And you go up to the bar and you say something like, let me get a beer. And you get a root beer. Or you say, let me get a vodka on the rocks. And they give you...
7-Up or Sprite.
Yeah, like 7-Up or Sprite, with ice cubes in it.
Yeah.
Saying things like that. So you order...
Or a bourbon or something.
Yeah, you order drinks with alcoholic names, but they're actually like soda pops. And then you could have things like, kids could say, oh, I had too much alcohol, and they could get into bar fights and have fun. And maybe you make it to where it's like, you have to be 4 years old before you get to go in the bar. So like slightly older kids feel that it's an exclusive thing. And they say open an hour later than usual. So if a kid's curfew is 10, maybe the bar stays open until 11, but their parents have to pick them up. And you call the parents their designated drivers. Alana was very underwhelmed by this idea.
No.
We could call it the kids' corral.
No, I just thought it's not a good idea. And I don't think they should be served in beer cans or...
Yeah, I thought that they could use like recycled beer cans. So, it's more realistic.
And I thought, this is really weird. This is really weird.
Well, they're recycled beer cans, babe. You wouldn't use they go through the whole machine and everything. It's not just they're thrown out and somebody picks them up and they go right to the kid corral. They go through the recycling process.
Wow, that's a little weird, bub.
See, I think this is a really good idea. Because you're not serving them real alcohol.
Yeah, but, I mean... I just don't think they should be even I know it's not real alcohol, but the concept of a bar, I don't think so. I really don't.
I mean, maybe I'm wrong.
Just like you shouldn't raise a baby in a bar.
I never said you should.
No, I'm just saying, you shouldn't be introducing them to ideas like that until, they're much older to understand it. I just don't think it's appropriate.
But they probably have parents who go to bars. So maybe this isn't like cooperation with a fast food chain. It's possible that this could be like with a bar.
I mean,
right?
I would understand if it was like a kid's coffee shop. It wouldn't be real coffee. It would be something else.
Right, but let's say you have this in front of a bar. So a parent could drop you off at the kids' bar that's maybe like right next to the real bar, and then they go to the real bar.
Yeah, and they're wasted when they get out. I don't think so.
Okay.
That's a little too
weird. So
weird.
we go with the designated driver idea, and this is like in lieu of a play structure at a fast food restaurant. We have the kids' bar, the kids' corral.
I just don't think that would fly.
Okay.
I don't think a lot of parents would be in that.
I think people would really dig this idea.
By people, what do you mean by people?
I think a lot of parents would look at something like this and be like, oh, that's kind of cute.
No. I really don't think it would work.
Wow. Okay.
I don't. But that's just me. I mean, I don't know. I just don't like the idea of kids and bars mixing, or kids with knowing the concept of bars.
But again, they would not be drinking real alcohol. It would be all sodas. We're just changing the name.
That's still weird. I don't get that. Now, it's not like, it's different than like, so you know how some restaurants or cafeterias style restaurants, they have like a juice bar, right?
Yeah.
It's not alcoholic, it's just juices.
Mm-hmm.
It's just set up like a place where you get your cups and you get your drinks, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know how they have that like a juice bar, a nacho bar, or in buffet places and
course.
stuff? It's different than an actual bar. I would understand that.
Right, but this is made to look like a real bar.
I don't like the idea.
Okay.
I'm not on board with it, no. Mm-mm.
And it could be kind of cute. Like, maybe the kid goes up to the telephone and calls their mom and be like, I had too much. Come and take me home.
No.
And we have, like, gambling tables, but your limit is, like, $1.
No. That is just so inappropriate.
Okay.
I don't even like gambling. I don't like the concept of gambling, because I think you just waste all your money.
I don't either. Having said that, if it is legal. But, I guess they have not opened the kids' corral yet, so maybe it isn't a good idea.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I just don't think it's a good idea.
Okay.
Sorry.
Alana.
Yes?
We have also been watching DS9.
Yes, we have.
I showed you 2 episodes the other day. What did you think of them?
Very interesting, actually.
The first episode I showed you was the one where Shakar comes to the station, and Odo is assigned to follow him. But there seems to be something going on that's a little bit special between Shakar and his old terrorist buddy, Major Kira Nerys.
I really felt bad for Odo in that episode.
I did too.
I felt so bad for this guy because he had to watch them. Because he's a head of security on DS9, and he had to watch and make sure that their route was secure. That means he had to watch them pretty much all the time on their outings. I felt so bad for him. I did.
What did you think of the stuff with Quark?
Oh, well, I don't know what to think about this, because I think that there is a nice guy in Quark, but all he really cares about is profiting, getting profits, increasing his profits. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, that's all. That's a mindset of a Ferengi, right? I know his nephew Nog isn't like that, and Rom isn't like that. Not necessarily.
The way I look at Quark is
it's
kind of similar. I think of him as somebody, if he can do the right thing and make profit, he will. But if he can make profits, but he can't do the right thing, 9 times out of 10 he's going to choose profit.
Right. Well, that's why when we watched that movie about him falling, and being in love with his ex-girlfriend, right?
Profit and Loss, that's a great episode.
Right. And this is when you see like real emotions in Quark, and He was just willing to give everything up for Natima, and they don't end up together. So it was very, it was kind of a bittersweet episode, I think.
That's one of the few Ferengi episodes that I really, really enjoy.
Yeah.
I love the scene in Odo's quarters.
Oh right. Oh, when Odo was tearing down his quarters.
And well, that's great. But then later on, not that much later, but Quark comes into the quarters and starts giving him advice, and then he says, "Oh, this is interfering with my profits." And then Odo turns to him and he's like, "Funny, for a moment I thought you were telling me this because you cared about me, or you're talking to me as a friend." And then of course it's like, nah.
That was funny.
Yeah.
Just when he thought he was going to do the right thing, he's like, nah.
Well, I mean, that's obviously Quark's out.
Yes.
Right? Because he does like Odo. And he's even said that on the show.
Yeah, he did. He does.
He does say that he likes Odo.
When did he say that?
Oh, you might not have seen that.
No.
Strike that from the record.
Okay. Strike that. Scratch it.
Right.
Scratch it out.
It will come up. But he has said a few times that he does like Odo. I don't think Odo has ever admitted to liking Quark.
No, there's like a love-hate relationship between Odo and Quark, I think. In Odo's perspective, I think he's like, oh, Quark is kind of a friend, but not really.
I think it's... Odo looks at Quark as an enemy.
Yeah.
But he also looks at him like somebody he can learn something from. Because here's what Quark has that Odo doesn't.
Yeah.
Quark has friends. Quark has a social life.
Yep.
Quark enjoys what he's doing. It doesn't mean that he doesn't have his problems, but he gets joy out of life, where Odo has to really struggle in those areas.
Right.
So he hates Quark, but he admires that Quark's able to do this stuff.
Well, Odo has friends too.
Yeah, but Odo's a lot more distant and quiet.
He is, and he's a changeling. So he's kind of getting, used to knowing about where he came from and trying to live in the humanoid world too.
Yeah. So it's like this. Odo is at war with his people. Quark has conflicts with the other Ferengis, but in his heart he's still a Ferengi.
Right.
He hasn't been completely rejected by society just because he has some issues. Quark has been... Odo has been kind of sent out to live on his own. He's at war with his people. And everybody he's around hates his people. The people around Quark, they dislike the Ferengis. They're not the hugest fan of them.
Yes.
But they're not like they're not trying to destroy the Ferengi society.
Right.
Like the Federation is trying to do with the changelings.
Did we talk about that episode where Quark goes to Earth to pretend like he is in support of Nog being in the Starfleet Academy?
I don't think we talked about Little Green Men.
Oh, that was so funny. I thought it was a really fun episode.
I like it. It's a good episode.
I like the part where they're
talking about the Bell riots.
Yeah, and they're let's get to that first. Yes.
They're traveling. Or maybe we did talk about it.
Did we?
I can't remember if we talked about it or not. But they're traveling on the starship that Quark got from his cousin Galen, the one with the moon.
Galen, yeah, there's a small moon.
And before they left the station, Nog got this book that talked about the history of Earth. So he's looking through it and he's like, Uncle Quark, have you ever heard of the Bell riots? And he's like, no. And he's like, doesn't this Gabriel Bell look a lot like Commander Sisko? It's like, all humans look alike.
All humans look alike. But I like the part, what I thought was really funny was when their universal transmitters were broken.
Yeah, that's great.
And they're trying to find it in their ear.
The reason I like that scene is because it shows kind of more how Starfleet technology works.
Yeah, and it was funny because you listen to what they're saying, and it's like, it's a totally different language. It's like, where is my ship? Where is my ship? And then it shows them, the humans listening to them, and it sounds like a totally different language.
Yes.
And then it shows the Ferengis listening to them, and it sounds like they're talking backwards. I thought that was really funny.
It was great.
Yes. So we may have mentioned it in another episode, but...
You got to hear it again.
We get to hear it again.
Yeah, and, have fun with that.
Right.
Greatest hits.
Right. Greatest hits.
We also watched another episode of DS9 with Gul Dukat.
Yeah, I didn't know what to think about that one.
I love that episode.
I liked it, but I just didn't know what to think about Galdecott, because you could see like a streak of of dishonesty and.
Well, listen,
You know.
he used to run a station that was an ore mining plant, and a lot of Bajorans died under his command.
Yeah.
He's not a good guy.
No.
Or at the very least, he's done very horrific things in the past. It's weird because I don't want to say too much because I know how the story with him ends, and you don't at this point.
No. I really liked that one part where Major Kira was showing Ziel about what weapon she should use for
for in case the Klingons invade.
Right, the Klingon weapon, or the was it Cardassian weapon? Yeah.
Yes.
Cardassian weapon that was using. I'm like, oh, this is really interesting.
I like that scene too. Do you want to give a little bit of an outline of the episode?
No, I think you'd be better at it because I think I missed some of it.
Oh, that's right, because you were asleep.
A little bit, yeah. I was
Alana
really
was
tired.
so captivated by the episode. Basically, there's this conference that's supposed to go on between the Klingons, the Cardassians, and the Bajorans. So, after Major Kira convinced Galdecott not to kill his daughter and to take her back to Cardassia, he got demoted, and now he's the captain of this freight ship. So he picks up Major Kira to take her to the conference. They go to the location where it's supposed to be held, and they find out that the base that it was scheduled to be at was destroyed by these Klingon ships. They chase the Klingon ships. They eventually kill the crew. They get a hold of the ship, and they're about to go on this really wild mission of Cardassia, a Cardassian commander defending the Empire against the Klingons. And Kira says that she wants to go home, but she wants to take Galdecott's daughter with her.
Oh, yeah.
And so they are linked at the end of the episode.
Interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's some interesting stuff coming up, babes.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah. I really have been enjoying the Kira episodes, actually.
I love Kira.
Yeah.
I mean, Cisco is my favorite. A close second is Odo, and then a close third is Kira Nerys.
Yeah.
I think she's such a great character.
She is. She's very in depth.
Yes.
I also love the interaction between Jake and Benjamin Sisko.
Oh yeah, they have a great chemistry.
They do. They're just fantastic together. And then the relationship the friendship that Jake and Nog have, I think.
Yes.
Nog just seems very likable to me.
Mm-hmm.
He may not understand the humans or like them. No, I'm sorry.
He likes humans.
He likes humans. He's like, you know what? They may be blah 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 blah. And I'm referring to the Little Green Men episode.
Okay.
Where he's like, they may be blah 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 blah, and he goes, but hey, I like them.
Yeah. Nog, the quality I think he gets from Quark is they're both very outgoing, and they're shysters. They want to get something out of you, but they want to sort of they want to do it with finesse. They don't just want to steal from you. They want to sort of
they want to start
have
a
some
rapport.
fun with you. Yeah,
they want a rapport.
They don't want to screw you so badly that they can't come back to you again and have a fun adventure with you. They want you to be like, they got me, but you know what? It was fun while it lasted. I'm going to interact with them again at some point in the future.
Yeah.
Yes.
What was that one episode where, was it Odo that changed? Oh, it was the one where they did the, they were people were being introduced to Dax's hosts.
Oh, yeah, I don't remember the name of the episode, but I know the one that you're talking about, where Quark takes on the personality of one of her female hosts.
Right, and talks about having children. It's like, how much longer is this going to have to be? Just a few more hours or whatever it is. And then Odo comes into the bar, and he is... Curzon, the old guy.
Who is Benjamin's best friend.
And Quark is like, Odo, what happened to your face? he's like flabbergasted because he's like, what happened to Odo? And he's trying to have fun with Quark. I thought that was great.
Yes.
It's great.
I like that episode too.
And the actor who played Odo was just fantastic.
Yeah, Renee, I can never pronounce his last name.
He's gone now. He went bye-bye.
So talented, though.
I think he was in his 80s.
79.
Okay.
Died of stomach cancer last year.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's brutal.
Yes.
Oh, that's brutal.
Alana,
Yes,
you sent me down a little bit of a rabbit hole this week.
I did.
We were on the phone.
I did.
Yes. You know where I'm going with this.
I'm not sure, but you're going to take me there, I'm sure.
Okay. I'll take you there.
I'll take you there. Yeah.
You had brought up the television show Sisters.
Yes, I did.
And you had said, what happened to Sheila Ward? Okay, what else was she in? And I started telling you that in the 1990s,
Yep.
Sheila Ward was in a Lifetime television movie about the life of Jessica Savage.
Oh, wow.
You did not know who she was, and I
No.
was kind of explaining it to you, her role in journalistic history.
Mm-hmm.
After we got off the phone, I went to see if there were any books written about her. And I'm almost done with a book about Jessica Savage.
And you said it was really interesting.
It's really interesting. One of the things that strikes me, I'll give one story from the book. She was a reporter in, I believe, Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
There was one night where they got the news script wrong. So she's reading stories out of order, and things are not going right on the local news.
Mm-hmm.
They take a break, and she just goes on this huge tirade against her staff.
Wow.
It's being recorded.
With opera music in the background, right?
Well, no, it's not being recorded. What happens is it's being recorded. The cameraman saves the footage, and somebody puts opera music behind it. So it's like this really funny thing.
Yeah.
And they're just playing it for the staff. Mm-hmm. Somebody from NBC comes down to the station. Mm-hmm. And I believe, now I read this early this morning when I was partially asleep, so if I get it wrong, I get it wrong. But it makes for an interesting story. Yeah. And I'm not giving out any names of sites for Jessica Savage, who's dead now.
Right.
Okay. The way I remember the story is she had just been hired from NBC to become a national anchor.
Right.
Somebody from NBC comes down to the station, nothing to do with Jessica Savage, but to do other business. And they show this guy the tape that had been floating around the station.
Right.
More copies get made, and the tape floats around the news industry throughout the country of her having this huge meltdown.
Right.
And I just remember, going through that story this morning early on and just like having a good laugh with it.
Wasn't there a part in the story you said that she couldn't make it to the end of the newscast because she was like drunk or something, or she was impaired somehow?
I haven't gotten to that point in the book, but from what I read online, she was doing a newscast and she had some problems. She came in. I'm sorry, they talked about it briefly in the intro to the book. She got into the studio, like, she was supposed to do a news read at like 8:59.
Uh-huh.
Okay, she gets into the studio at 8:50. She's barely prepared. She goes on the air, and they speculate that she was drunk, and there may have been other substances involved. And she starts messing up on the news stories.
Wow.
They have her do it again at 9:59. Mm-hmm. Then she gets suspended, and a week later, she dies in a car accident.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Wow.
It's an interesting book.
Yes.
At some points through this journey, I have been laughing at some of the crazy shit she does and how it backfires. And at other points, I've been like, oh man, she sounds like a really cool person who is probably just a little bit depressed.
A little bit depressed?
Yeah.
Sounds like she's a lot depressed.
Well, you know what I mean, though.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting exploring somebody's life.
Yeah.
She was married to somebody who killed himself after like, I think 5 months.
Of marriage?
And she found the body.
Oh,
and this was only like a couple years before she died.
Oh, wow. So she just got married before she died. Is that right?
She was married twice before.
She was... okay.
Yeah. And this guy was a pediatrician. No, I'm sorry, an obstetrician. Mm-hmm. And she actually went to the labor room once.
Oh,
and saw him deliver a baby.
Wow.
They get married. And then 5 months later, she comes home and he had hung himself.
Oh,
she found the body.
Wow. That's really tragic.
Yep.
I suppose it would send anybody... If they let it, it would probably send them into drunkenness and all kinds of things.
She had problems before then.
Wow, okay. Wow. Just
she,
adding to her problems.
Yeah, she sounds like a complicated lady. I don't know if I would have liked her, but I would have definitely had sympathy for her.
That's really tough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's terrible.
Yeah.
Huh.
Are you going to explore her life any further, or are you going to
I don't
enjoy
know.
my stories of her life?
I don't know if
When
I will.
tell you more about the book.
I don't know.
Okay.
Well, we'll have to wait until you're done with it, and I'll have to decide on that.
I'm close to the end.
Okay.
Yes.
Really?
Yes, babes.
Oh.
Have you been experiencing any media besides for what we've been going through together this last week?
Not a whole lot. I mean, just listening to the news, but
Yeah.
not a whole, like, I haven't been...
I probably should have used the word entertainment.
Entertainment, yeah. Not really. I mean, I just renewed a subscription I had for a streaming website. And there are some shows I added to my my list that I have yet to watch or start watching. Yeah.
But you haven't been viewing any television programs or watching any movies outside of what we do?
Not for a while.
Or
no.
reading any books?
No, not for a while.
Okay.
No, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to get back into it. I will.
Very nice, babe.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else you want to say to the people? Did you like the new character in Toy Story with Forky?
It's Forky.
Okay.
It's Forky. And Gabby was interesting.
Gabby was interesting. I like the Forky.
Forky. Forky.
You're tickling me.
Yes.
Okay.
It's Forky with a fork. Do not corrupt Toy Story 4 for me. I will get you. I will get you.
Anyways, is there anything else you want? Hey, don't tickle me. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
We have a special. Well, there's something going on next week, and I don't know if I should mention it, but we are planning to talk about it on our next episode next week.
Well, we might record one between now and then.
And we may record one between now and then. I don't know.
Or even two. However, this will come up in the near future.
It is.
Our anniversary.
That's right.
Yes.
2 years.
Yes.
Almost 2 years.
I will make you
as a couple for 2 years.
I will make you what is a funky thing? A funky doll.
It's Forky.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Forky.
All right. I'm excited about
What
this.
am I going to do with him?
Well, love me, of course.
I thought I already accomplished that.
More.
Okay. Anyway, it's going to be next week. A week from today is going to be a very special day for us.
And y'all are not invited.
No, nobody's invited.
Besides the two of us.
We'll just have to talk about it.
Oh, yes. And tonight we're doing Jimmy Stewart night.
We are.
Finally. I know we had talked about me wanting to do this, but we will watch Harvey and Rear Window.
And I've never seen any of those movies, but you have told me about them.
I like both of them. I know that Harvey... I don't know how you'll feel about Harvey, and I'm not quite sure how you'll feel about Rear Window. But
Okay.
we'll see. We'll see.
Okay.
Yes.
That'll be interesting.
Of course.
Didn't you say Rear Window is more visual?
It is, but I'm going to, I've seen it a few times, so I'm going to describe some of the stuff that's going on.
Is there a lot of talking in it?
There's still talking in it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. That's good.
Is there anything else you want to say here, babes?
I don't know, actually. That's a good question. I think I have nothing more to report.
You blew your load?
What?
Never mind. That's what they say in on Howard Stern when sometimes, I blew my load today. I said everything I was meant to say.
Okay.
I think that's supposed to mean.
Oh, really? Okay. Sure, it's not something else.
Okay.
No,
it's a double entendre.
It's a double entendre. Yeah, I pretty much said what I needed to say.
Right. And that character's name again is
Forky.
Okay.
It is Forky.
All right.
Do not corrupt Toy Story 4.
Sounds good, babe. Well, I love you, Jaylo.
Yes, I love you too. I'll get you. I will. You're gonna get it.
Until next time.
Until next time.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hold on. Bye-bye.